Hey guys, this is Sarah Macklin hopping in here to talk to you guys about another PCOS myth. And I want to paint a little picture in your head before we actually get into it, and then you'll probably get what we're going to talk about today. So think of when, if you watch this show, The Greatest Showman, this will be easy for you to put into your head. But I feel like we have this preconceived notion that we all should look like the bearded lady. I mean, think about it. She definitely had to have had some serious testosterone to grow that facial hair. Now, granted, in real life, we know that movie is not exactly what the bearded lady looked like, but we do know that the bearded lady was real once upon a time. And so there was a woman out there working the circus, rocking the full-on facial beard, and she was a heavy-set woman. So, that I feel like tends to be what we feel like is what all PCOS women should look like, right? We should all carry on that extra weight. We're going to have the facial hair. Many of us don't necessarily grow the full-on facial beard like that, but many of us do rock the facial hair and really do a lot of work to try to keep that in control, so that way we still have like our femininity, because that is kind of what we feel like we lose in these moments of having PCOS, is we feel like we're losing our femininity. And we really work really hard to try to hold on to that. So, but we have this preconceived thought that that's what all PCOS women look like, right? Well, that's not necessarily the case, and which is why weight is not a factor that plays into diagnosing a woman with PCOS. You can definitely, and I've met people that have insulin resistant issues. They have hay A1Cs and stuff like that, and they're slender, and I will forever never understand what that must be like. But because I am not that crowd. But there is definitely the possibility that you could be more of a slender build, or what they call like a lean PCOS, and have a normal BMI number to go with your weight. So a lot of times leaner women do get misdiagnosed. They will never get pegged with PCOS when they really have PCOS. And the same can be held true the other way. You could be overweight, heavy set, and not necessarily have PCOS. You might have another underlying condition, even though you have irregular cycles. It is just automatically assumed that the problem is PCOS. So do realize that weight is not a factor here. You can still have a lot of the same underlying problems. After all, this is a syndrome. And with it being considered a syndrome and not a disease, we all respond to it differently, which is what makes the diagnosis of PCOS so tricky, guys. So just because you're slender, don't assume that you don't have PCOS. Go, if your doctor says no and you still think that maybe it is, there's some underlying conditions, do a little bit of research, maybe go seek out another physician, get some lab work. There's plenty of resources out there talking about lean PCOS. If you are an overweight woman or obese and you've been diagnosed with PCOS and you feel like that is not your diagnosis, again, kind of do some homework, study up on PCOS. There's a lot of other different conditions that can mock PCOS that is truly not PCOS. So it is possible to get misdiagnosed or have some other underlying cause that is mocking the similar symptoms. So definitely do some research. If you feel like that those it's not lining up, the dots aren't lining up, then definitely do some homework. But don't ever assume that because you have an irregular cycle and you are or aren't overweight, that you may not or may have PCOS. That might be a misleading link to your diagnosis. Never use weight as your guide. So hopefully you guys have found this helpful. If you guys are finding this information useful, make sure you click up at the top, click subscribe, and click on the bell so that way you get alerted every time I put up a new video. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye-bye.